What is up, guys? So this video is going to be super raw. There's going to be no fancy edits, no cuts, just me, you, the camera, the microphone, and that's pretty much it. I'm just keeping this one raw because I felt like making a video and felt like sharing with you guys my personal experience with smoking weed, my addiction in the past, how I overcame it, and I guess some of the benefits that it's had on my life stopping. Where do I even start? Like, I smoked since like 15, 16, like bongs, like big stoner. I dropped out of high school, man. Like, I smoked weed every day. Like, I didn't care I didn't know what was going to happen with my life, right? I had no idea. I was just getting stoned every single day because I was comfortable. It felt good. It was a social thing with my friends. And I mean, I didn't really accomplish anything doing it. It was more so I just had a weak mind and just fell into the trap every day because what I was saying, I was comfortable. Like the comfort zone is the killer. Everyone says it, that your comfort zone is your dream killer. And yeah, I was 16 when I started smoking. I didn't quit until I was probably 15 actually, but I didn't quit. Like, I'd say, what am I now? Probably 21. I quit at 21. Super funny story on how I quit as well. Like, I knew I wanted to quit for so long, but I just wasn't strong enough in here to quit. Like, I was just a bitch in my mind. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to quit. I'd go to bed, I'd go to sleep, I'd wake up and I'd be like, I'm going to get high. Why not? And it was just a vicious cycle of doing the same thing because like I didn't really have that many my chair. I didn't really have that many goals either. I was just living day to day, just being comfortable, right? But when I did quit, I remember. So it's actually funny because I quit and then I met my girlfriend that I've pretty much been with for 3 years that week that I quit. So I had a trip planned to go to Cairns, which is another state in Australia. I used to live there. I went to meet a bunch of friends for a holiday there, and I was like, this is a perfect time to quit because I was changing environments. I've always felt like when you change your environment, it's a lot easier to build like a new habit or sort of break a habit because you're forced to, because you're in a new environment, new stuff around you. And I was like, this is going to be the perfect time for me to quit smoking weed. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be away. I'm not going to have a choice, right? I'm going to have to stop smoking while I'm there. So it's like I might as well just stop in general because like what's the point of stopping for like a week then coming back and just continue smoking when it's like something I've wanted to do for so long. So went on that holiday, and I remember the first night it took me like hours to get to sleep because I couldn't smoke. The next day I felt okay. I was pretty busy throughout the day. I mean, because I was on holiday, so I didn't really have much time to think of it. But come the second day or the third day come the third day, and like I started getting like anxious, and I've never been anxious before in my life. Like as a teenager, as a kid, I was always that confident, cocky, loud sort of rat, right? Teenage dirtbag. That was me. So I never had any anxiety. I didn't care what anyone thought of me. And then like I just got this feeling in my stomach one day, and I was staying in a hostel, I remember. And it was like this feeling of like I felt sick in the stomach, and like I had plans scheduled for that night. I had to go and catch up with some old friends, and I just got this feeling in my stomach I'd never felt before, and I started to feel like I was gonna have a panic attack. But at the time, I didn't know what a panic attack was because I've never experienced it before. But it was just this sickening feeling in my stomach, and I didn't want to see anyone, I didn't want to talk to anyone. So I went to my hostel room and I laid in the bed, and like it was dark, no one was near me, and I was just laying there, and I was like, oh, what is this feeling? Like I had no idea what it was. And I was just feeling on edge. It's like paranoia. Like I was just so on edge about everything. I didn't want to see anyone out of nowhere too. So weird. And then I called my mum because I didn't know who to speak to. Like I'm very close to my mother. She's helped me through anything I've had to go through. She always supports me, loves me, cares for me, etc. Called my mother and I'm like, Mum, like I don't feel right. I don't know how I feel, but I don't feel right. Like I'm feeling on edge. Like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to see anyone. Like I don't know what's going on. And she spoke to me for a bit, and then it really started to get bad. Like I genuinely started to feel super anxious. Like the thought of going out that night, like was the scariest thought in the world. So I just stayed in bed all day. I told my friends, I was like, oh, I don't feel well. Sorry. Like I can't come out with you. and I just did nothing. Couldn't go to sleep. Was on my phone. That's how I met my girlfriend, actually. So I was on my phone. I was on Tinder. I was scrolling on Tinder. I was like, I feel like shit. I'll just go on Tinder. I was on Tinder. I was swiping. And then earlier that day, I met this girl who is my girlfriend now by the pool at the hostel. And I started chatting to her. And I was like, oh, what's your Instagram? You know, I was trying to do the Vinny D Fit classic. But got her Instagram, and then I saw her on Tinder that night when I was in bed. So I was like, fuck it, I'll swipe right. I swiped right, matched. I was like, shit. And it's like maybe 1 a.m. I just couldn't sleep. And then I messaged her. I was like, oh, like blah, blah, blah. Bit of Vinny D Fit specials in the messages. Long story short, we ended up just speaking, and then not to take away from the story of the anxiety and stuff, but I just thought I'll just chuck that in there as well. It's a funny extra. Yeah, so anxious as fuck, barely could sleep, wake up the next day, same feeling, felt like shit, horrible. And then, yeah, I didn't do anything for the holiday. I just stayed in the hostel room the whole fucking holiday. I mean, I ended up meeting my girlfriend, so I couldn't hang out with my friends though. Like I couldn't be around people. Like I just got so anxious thinking of socializing, like, and that was so not like me. Like I was the most social person ever, so I just delayed every single interaction with people as much as possible. My friends at the time, they're like, "Oh, Vinny, we're going camping tomorrow night. Like, come camping." I'm like, "I can't, man. Like, I feel sick." But I didn't feel sick. It was like this anxiety that I felt in my stomach of just like I can't be around anyone. Like I just can't deal with, I felt like if I was going to be around people, like everyone would be judging me or everyone would be looking at me, and I just felt like I was going to fucking have a heart attack or something. So I put that camping trip off. My friends went, I just stayed in the hostel room, did nothing. And then I was like, damn, like I'm going to message this girl because like I could speak to her. Like I don't know what my logic was or how this anxiety thing was working, but I could speak to a woman that I was like attracted to, right? Messaged her. We ended up messaging, and it actually made me feel like a bit better. And we ended up actually catching up the night that I was meant to go camping with my friends at the time, and we caught up. It was awesome, man. Like from the moment I met her, like that catch up, I was like I love this girl. Like, and I've never been like that. Like I've had my partying phase. I've had my fucking man whore phase. But this girl, like, man, I was just like, straight away, I was like, damn, she's cool. And, yeah, then we ended up hanging out for like 3 days. Everything was all good. And then finished my holiday back to Gold Coast where I'm at now. And this is where it got bad. Like, so I got back home, and then my work contacted me at the time. I was working at a bar, and they contacted me. They're like, "Oh, Vinny, like we've had a huge leak in the roof. Like we won't be open for the next 3 weeks. So no work. Have just quit smoking. So I'm left with like nothing to do. Like the whole day. Like I don't have any friends here on the Gold Coast. I'm just a complete lone soldier. And like I was always like that. I've always enjoyed my own company. But before, when I was smoking, I would smoke, I would go to the gym, I would come home, I would smoke, I would make content. This is 3 years ago as well. Like this is when I was like grinding TikTok videos. Like I grew my following on TikTok. It was just me and grinding. Like I didn't have friends, and I was just smoking because I enjoyed making content so much, but I was just like a stoner at the time. Then I got back, no smoking and anxiety. And that night, like it was super bad, and I ended up having to call the ambulance because I thought I was having a heart attack. No, I got the COVID shot, the vaccine, and because there was like that rumor going around on how like people are having heart attacks or something, it was like that anxiety was playing in my head, and I kept thinking I'm gonna die from this vaccine, like I'm gonna have a heart attack. And then like I got so overwhelmed one night. I remember it so specifically. I used to have to listen to like relaxing noises to try and go to sleep because I was like bad insomnia. Like I wouldn't sleep until like 4 or 5 a.m., have 2 hours sleep. In that 2 hours, I'd have like 8 nightmares. I'd wake up panting. Fuck, it was just so bad. And then I'd listen to like music for like hours and just really try and relax, but it never worked. And this one night, I put on a Harry Potter audiobook, and I was just like laying there. I was like just trying to like relax and not overthink with anxiety. And this audiobook, I was just listening to it, and then all of a sudden I like felt heart palpitations and I started stressing out. I got up and I looked in the mirror and I was like green and I was sweating, and then I was like, I passed out on the bathroom floor. Thought I was dying, called the ambulance. They came, injected me with stuff, took me to the hospital. I spent the night in the hospital. And then like ever since then it was just downhill, man. Like I really thought there was something wrong with me, and I never thought I would ever feel okay again. And I had to go and stay at my grandma's because I needed someone there, just because I couldn't be by myself. And I stayed at my grandma's after what that happened for like 3 nights, 3 days. I was just in bed for the whole fucking day, for the whole night. Just like, man, that thinking back to it, like even thinking of it makes me like emotional, because it was like I really didn't, I thought I was going to be like that forever. Like I didn't think I was ever going to recover from it. I thought I was going to be like, oh, it's just, oh, it's so bad. And I couldn't even go to the gym, because I'd go to the gym, I'd think people were looking at me. I would go to the gym. I couldn't have any caffeine because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I couldn't train properly because I'd do a couple sets and then I'd start to hyperventilate and have a panic attack. I couldn't make content, which was my only passion at the time, because I didn't want to film myself on my phone, because I would just judge myself and I would think people were judging me on TikTok. So it ruined my passion. It ruined the gym for me. It ruined everything that I had, this anxiety thing, like everything. It tore me back like the worst thing. It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, ever. Like one of them. And I couldn't do anything about it. I was just out of my control. And it took time to recover. It took a lot of time, to about a year to recover from that, and it sucked, but I needed it. I needed it because it shaped me into who I am today. I needed to go through all that shit to realize now that I don't feel like that. And I'm so grateful that I don't. And I think it's contributed into, I would like, the success I'm having now in doing what I love, which is coaching people, working hard, putting in the work into my business to help transform people's lives. I think that actually helps, because now I'm like, I was always an extrovert my whole life. I was always the guy that was loud, out, partying, talking to everyone. And that like made me an introvert. Like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to socialize. I didn't want friends. I just wanted to stay in my little bubble and just do what I love, which is now work and help transform people's life. But at the same time now, I can flick the switch and be an extrovert again, because I'm not suffering with the same like anxiety symptoms, but deep down I'm an introvert. Like that changed me. Deep down I'm an introvert now. I'm changed. Like I am more than happy to sit in my office every single day of the week and just work and just grind, because I don't want to be out there with other people, because I just don't want to. I'm just an introvert now. So it changed. I went from an extrovert to an introvert, but at least now when I need the extrovert to come out, I can. Like I could still go out now, and if I want to flick my extrovert switch, I can do that and start socializing and talking. But that's why I really do believe that everything that you go through has a purpose for you in life, and everything that you go through personally sort of builds you up into who you are today. Back to the girlfriend, like a month after my holiday, we end up speaking, just for any of you that were wondering. And she actually moved in with me a couple months after that trip, when I was like really, really down bad. So my girlfriend's been with me through thick and thin as well, which is, cool for her to see. But that's my experience with anxiety, smoking weed, and just some fucking shit that I've been through in the past 3 years. So if you can take anything away from this video, whatever it is that you're going through, or whatever it is life throws at you, I really do believe there's always a reasoning behind it. What's meant to happen will always happen.